Okay, everyone, this is my spoiler review of X-Men the Animated Series, Season 4, Episode 2, A Deal with the Devil. This originally came out September 14th, 1996. It was a part of Season 5 as Episode 3, and this is one of those episodes that was originally supposed to come out in Season 3, but there was delays due to animation issues. So we'll see these American soldiers find Omega Red in the ice where he was frozen by Storm. He is brought back to make a deal, which you know already is a bad idea, and the reason they bring him back is to contain this Soviet submarine that has these nuclear missiles on it. And the deal is they'll make him human again. But they have implanted in him a sealed vial of liquid nitrogen in case he tries to do anything silly here. But with a big villain like Omega Red, you know that's not going to stop him. And then he also makes a deal with them saying he wants to bring along Storm and Wolverine. These are the two that put him away, so he wants his sweet justice. Now, the line that's going to stick out and be most memorable from this episode is when Wolverine says, "Who do these genius spy catchers think they're dealing with, Winnie the Pooh?" I thought that was so good. And I also love this moment where Wolverine is just being chippy with Omega here, and they're sitting in the submarine, and Storm is like, "Please shut the F up. I am terrified of small spaces. Like, calm down, Wolverine." I thought that was so good. But predictably so, Omega Red will take out the implant, and Storm goes to stop Wolverine from attacking him because the air is toxic. So she's like, "Look, you got these healing powers. You might be fine, but I'm screwed." And he still goes and attacks anyway. Now, this attempt to stop him fails, and Omega Red tells the soldiers he's going to point all these missiles now at the world's 15 largest cities. So I'd love to see how Omega Red figured that out. Did he Google search at the time, ask Jeeves, where did he find how to hit the 15 largest cities? Very specific. But you see, this guy just wants to see the world burn and then chooses time to return and pick up the pieces. And he even says at one point, in response to Storm saying millions will perish, he says, well, millions more will fear him. It's a very strange philosophy in this guy's head and his motivations. But you can also tell with these soldiers that are talking to Omega Red that the sidekick is definitely the voice of who does Cyclops. He even looks like Cyclops. I like they try to hide it's the same voice actor, but it clearly you could tell right away. Now, Rogue and Beast are the real heroes this episode. They come to save the day, but Professor X is reminding them that if push comes to shove, they might have to sacrifice Wolverine and Storm to protect the world. But they are able to blast the first few missiles with the Blackbird, and that's when the Navy planes come in just in time for the rest. But you see that Omega Red has more missiles he's ready to use. But I also love that Beast right here paraphrases Cowper to Rogue, and it's a very long quote, which was just so funny just seeing Rogue sitting there listening to him in this big moment. But when Rogue sees that Omega Red has more plans with these missiles, she's like, "That's it, I'm going fishing." She has a great moment where she just dives into the water and bends the submarine, and she gets Wolverine and Storm out on this mini sub. But we'll see Omega Red is still alive deep in the ocean, and it ends with Wolverine saying, "I can smell him." I also like that Beast said Professor X, like, I'm not too worried about the trauma that Storm is experiencing again with her claustrophobia. I'm more worried about Wolverine. I thought that was really just random of a line. But I'm gonna be honest with you, this is the first real episode of the show I just really didn't enjoy. I think it's a very forgettable episode with a lot of just cliches going on here to me, I'm not a huge fan of Omega Red. If you see my other reviews, you know this, but I just feel like it's so generic, and everything going on in this story in this episode is just paint by the numbers, and it just doesn't have what sets the X-Men compared to other superheroes. It kind of just feels like you could have used any superheroes in this situation and seen this play out. It just is not a very enjoyable episode to me. It's actually the first episode of the show in reviewing it right now that I just did not like. So I'm going to give this one a 6.1, but I'm curious what you guys thought about this episode. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I read every comment. I try to respond as many as I can. Hit that sub button so you don't miss any of my X-Men reviews. I also cover figures. I cover news, everything that involves X-Men, and I'll see you next time.